So guys, Brazil are about to face Morocco, and honestly, this could easily turn into the biggest game we've seen so far in the FIFA World Cup group stage. We've already had some incredible matches, and this tournament has started in the best possible way. The World Cup is absolutely delivering right now. But at the same time, Brazilian fans are definitely nervous heading into this one. And honestly, I understand why. Morocco are not just another team in this tournament, they're one of the strongest and most organized sides in the entire competition right now. So before we even get into the tactical analysis, lineups, and squad discussions, I want to ask the Brazil fans watching this, what's your gut feeling going into this match? Seriously, what do you think is going to happen when Brazil face Morocco? Because let's not forget, Morocco already beat Brazil in that 2023 friendly. Now yes, if we're talking official competitive matches, these two sides have only faced each other once before at the World Cup, and that was back in 1998 when Brazil comfortably won 3-0. But can that happen again here? Does this Brazil side still have that level? Or are people maybe underrating them a little too much right now? Look, I like this Brazil team as much as anybody else. And honestly, when you look at this group overall, Brazil should still be expected to perform very well. I still think they have what it takes to top the group. Haiti are there, Morocco are there, Scotland are there. I can absolutely see Brazil beating Haiti, obviously. And honestly, I can also see Brazil beating Morocco. But weirdly enough, the one matchup I'm not fully convinced about is Scotland. And there's a reason for that. I've watched most of Brazil's recent games, including their qualifiers and friendlies. I watched the Egypt match, and I also saw the games before that. One thing I've noticed is that whenever Brazil come up against a really well-structured and physical team, they can sometimes struggle a bit. But against teams that play more open football, Brazil become extremely dangerous. The moment they're given space to attack, especially out wide, they can destroy teams with the pace and movement on the flanks. Just look at that Panama game where they won 6-2. Brazil completely tore them apart in transition. When they find rhythm and space, this attack becomes terrifying. Now, even with all that being said, I still don't think Brazil are guaranteed to win all three group matches. That's always difficult in a World Cup. But if there's one big game where I still feel Brazil can absolutely get the result, it's this Morocco match. At the same time though, this could very easily go the other way too, because I'm definitely not underestimating Morocco. Not after the run they've been on, and especially not with the squad they've brought into this tournament. One important update for Brazil though. Wesley has picked up an injury and is officially out of the World Cup. That's a massive blow because he was expected to be an important option at right back. What's interesting is that Brazil didn't replace him with another right back. Instead, they added an extra midfielder to the squad, bringing in Ederson. And honestly, I actually don't mind that decision, because one thing that disappointed me earlier was Brazil relying too heavily on Fabinho as backup in midfield when there were other strong options available, so at least bringing Ederson into the squad adds more balance and control in midfield areas. But now the big question becomes, what happens at right back? Does Danilo move there? That honestly looks like the most likely solution at this point. And yeah, Brazil fans are probably hoping that situation doesn't become a bigger problem later in the tournament. So yeah, Danilo will probably end up playing at right back, and honestly Brazil can still manage that situation. But at the same time, Morocco have problems of their own heading into this match. During their recent friendly against Norway, Morocco received some really bad news. Their star player, Abde Ezzalzouli, picked up an injury and is now out as well. And it didn't stop there. Center-back Nayef Aguerd also got injured in that same game, which means Morocco are now missing two extremely important players going into the World Cup. And honestly, that could seriously affect how far this team goes in the tournament because both Aguerd and Ezzalzouli are massive parts of this squad. Now let's talk about the replacements Morocco have brought in. One of them is Emine Esbai, a winger who plays for Angers. In his domestic season, he scored 3 goals and registered 1 assist in 25 appearances. The other replacement is Marwan Sadane, who currently plays for Al Fateh in the Saudi Pro League. He's 34 years old, so Morocco are clearly bringing in a bit more experience with that decision. So those are the 2 players who've been called up to replace the injured stars. Now the real question is, what kind of game are we actually going to see here? Because when you look at Morocco's AFCON run, one interesting thing stands out. Throughout that entire tournament, they only managed to produce over 1.0 expected goals from open play in 2 matches. That tells you something important. This is still a team that can sometimes struggle to consistently create big chances from open play. Now, I don't want to judge them too harshly because this squad is still absolutely loaded with talent. And even if the numbers don't always look crazy, the way Morocco play still tells you a lot about this team. If you enjoy watching technically gifted footballers, quick one-on-one ability, and players who are genuinely fun to watch on the ball, Morocco are definitely one of the teams you should be paying attention to in this tournament. They've got some unbelievable talent in this squad. Honestly, 2 or 3 of these players could become breakout stars of the World Cup. But my biggest concern with Morocco is still the defense. I'm just not fully convinced by their defensive stability yet. And when it comes to Brazil, their biggest issue has always been something I keep mentioning over and over again: the coordination in the front 3. First of all, who exactly starts in attack? And secondly, how well do those players actually combine together? That chemistry is going to matter a lot in a game like this. And then there's the biggest question of all: will Neymar Jr. even play? As of right now, Neymar is not fully fit, so there's a very high chance he misses this Morocco game entirely. Honestly, it feels around 80 to 90% likely that he won't play unless something changes very suddenly before kickoff. But based on the current situation, Neymar probably isn't starting. Now, if we talk about how both teams could set up tactically, this honestly feels like one of those matches that turns into a chess battle. Mohamed Awahbi, Morocco's current coach, replaced their previous manager and already knows this squad extremely well because he previously worked with Morocco's youth setup. So he understands these younger players inside out, he knows their strengths, their movement, and the kind of football they're comfortable playing. He's also a coach who puts a huge emphasis on technical quality and structure in possession. That's something you notice immediately when watching Morocco play. And another thing people absolutely should not underestimate is Morocco's intensity. This team plays with serious aggression and energy. Don't doubt that for a second. Even though this is the opening match, Morocco are still going to look for smart ways to hurt Brazil whenever they get the opportunity. Looking at the way Morocco have been playing lately, I honestly think a lot of neutral fans are probably going to support them in this game. It feels like most of Africa will be watching this thinking, yeah, Morocco can absolutely beat Brazil. But let's get into the lineups now. Starting with Brazil, I think Marquinhos and Gabriel Magalhaes will be the center-back pairing. Alisson obviously starts in goal without any debate. At right back, Danilo pretty much becomes the only realistic option now after the injury situation. And on the left side, Brazil still have a couple of choices. Alex Sandro is there, but personally I'd go with Douglas Santos. I still think he's a very solid footballer. Please, let the experienced guy handle this one for now. That being said, Brazil's full-back situation still doesn't look completely convincing, but the moment you move into midfield, the quality level immediately improves. The big question there is Casemiro. He just had a really strong season at Manchester United, but how much does he still have left physically at the international level? And more importantly, if something happens to him injury-wise, who really steps up? Can Fabinho fully handle that responsibility? Thankfully, Brazil at least added Ederson to the squad, which gives them another midfield option. Alongside Casemiro, I'd go with Bruno Guimaraes, and then Lucas Paqueta in the attacking midfield role, especially because Neymar Jr. most likely won't be available. Out wide, Rafinha on the right, and Vinicius Jr. on the left feels pretty straightforward to me. And up front, I'd personally start Matheus Cunha. I know some people will immediately say, why not start Igor Thiago? But honestly, I feel like when Igor Thiago plays as the striker, Brazil lose a lot of mobility in attack. I watched that Egypt game, and at times the attack just looked really difficult to watch. Brazil's football has always been built around movement and combination play. You can't have 10 players involved while one striker just stands inside the box waiting for crosses all game. That simply doesn't suit how Brazil want to play. Every outfield player, including the striker, has to contribute in build-up and link-up situations. And that's where Matheus Cunha becomes really valuable. Is he a traditional number 9? Not really. But his movement and combination play add a lot more dynamism to the attack. And honestly, that could seriously trouble Morocco's backline, which I still think has weaknesses. Issa Diop and Chadi Riyad are decent center-backs overall, but Chadi Riyad still lacks experience at this level. Now, if we switch over to Morocco's probable 11, Yassine Bounou obviously starts in goal. Then you've got Achraf Hakimi, Issa Diop, and Chadi Riyad in defense. There's also another center-back option they could use, but one player I really liked watching recently was Anas Salah Edeni. He's 24 years old and currently playing on loan at PSV. Very interesting player. Another possible option is Youssef Bellamari, the 27-year-old left-back from Al Ahly. He could definitely start too, but personally, I'd still go with Anas Salah Edeni. I just think he offers a little bit more overall. Now in midfield, some people might be surprised by my choices because I'm not starting Ayoub Buadi here, but honestly, I think this game could be too demanding for him right now. I don't really want to throw that level of pressure onto a 19-year-old in a match like this. Now obviously, age alone should never decide whether a player is good enough or not, but in this specific game, I think Morocco will lean toward experience and control because they simply cannot afford unnecessary risks. Buadi can still be integrated slowly into the team over time. Sofiane Amrabat obviously starts. He's one of the senior leaders in this squad. And alongside him, I'd go with Neil El Ainaoui, who honestly looks like one of the most exciting players to watch in this Morocco side. Then in the attacking midfield role, I'd probably start Azzedine Ounahi. Even though his season hasn't exactly been amazing, he still gives Morocco creativity between the lines. Now ideally, if I was building the perfect midfield setup long-term, I'd maybe use Bilal El Khanous more centrally in that advanced role and then bring another winger into the lineup on the left side. Honestly, another option Morocco could use out wide is Amin Spy, one of the newer wingers added to the squad, or maybe even Jessim Yassin. And trust me, Morocco are stacked with technically gifted players. The amount of pure ballers in this squad is actually crazy. But personally, I'd still probably use Bilal El Khanous in a wider role for certain phases of the game, because I think it could really benefit the team structurally. And another setup that could actually work is moving Brahim Diaz over to the left wing, using Bilal El Khanous on the right side, and then playing Ismail Saibari through the middle as the striker. The reason I like that idea is because Achraf Hakimi is naturally a very attacking fullback. Meanwhile, El Khanous isn't really a traditional winger. He prefers drifting into central areas behind the striker and operating in those half spaces. So if you place him on the right side, he can naturally move inside, while Hakimi provides the width on the overlap. Although honestly, in this particular game, I still think Hakimi might play a little more cautiously than usual because defending Vinicius Jr. is not an easy job for anybody. That's also why I can easily see Morocco building more of a four-man midfield setup with Bilal El Khanous, Azzedine Ounahi, Neil El Ainaoui, and Sofiane Amrabat together. I feel like that shape would really help Morocco control possession better in midfield. Areas. Then up front, I'd probably go with Ismail Saibari. Now, are there more options available? Absolutely. For Brazil, you still have players like Bremer available in defense. Fabinho is another option in midfield. Endrick will probably come off the bench at some point too. I'd actually expect him to feature in this game. And then there's Luis Henrique, another really exciting winger. On top of that, you've still got Gabriel Martinelli and Igor Thiago available as attacking options. That's the thing with Brazil. Even when you look at the bench, they still have game changers everywhere, and I almost forgot Rayon. That's another player people should keep an eye on. He's incredibly quick, can play on either wing, and can even operate as a striker if needed. So yeah, Brazil definitely have depth, but Morocco also have some very interesting options of their own. That's probably the result I'd go with right now. But emotionally, yeah, I'll still be rooting for Brazil. Come on, why not? Now let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who are you backing in this game? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the other football breakdowns on the channel as well. We've also uploaded detailed matchday analysis on our second football channel, so go give that a look too. Don't miss the upcoming videos. Subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care and peace out.